Captain Jake Morrison stood in the gleaming throne room of the Celestial Palace, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he faced the most beautiful creature he had ever seen. Princess Vera of the Altonian Empire possessed skin that shimmered like liquid starlight, eyes that held the depth of nebulae, and graceful limbs that moved with the fluid elegance of zero. Gravity ballet dot. The princess regarded him with a mixture of curiosity and polite confusion as her crystal blue gaze swept over his simple Earth military uniform. The fabric looked crude against the backdrop of walls that seemed to be carved from solid diamonds, each surface reflecting rainbow light throughout the vast chamber. "Your Highness," Jake began, his voice steady despite the weight of his mission. "I come before you on behalf of the human race to formally request your assistance in our war against the Void Hunters." Princess Vera tilted her head, her expression growing more puzzled. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "You must be mistaken." Jake blinked, momentarily thrown off balance. "Mistaken about what, Your Highness?" "About requiring our assistance," she replied, settling back into her throne that appeared to be made of crystallized moonbeams. Surely a species capable of interstellar travel and advanced warfare would not need help from us. The human captain felt a familiar surge of frustration that had plagued him throughout his journey across the galaxy. Every advanced civilization he encountered seemed to view humanity through the same lens of condescending pity mixed with bewilderment. They saw humans as a young, reckless species that had somehow stumbled into the cosmic arena without proper preparation. "Your Highness, with respect, the Void Hunters have already consumed 47 star systems. They're biomechanical ships. Adapt to every weapon we throw at them. Your people's mastery of quantum manipulation could turn the tide of this war." Princess Vera leaned forward slightly, her luminous features showing genuine concern. "These Void Hunters you speak of, they sound terrible indeed. But surely the Galactic Council has marshaled the great powers to face this threat. The crystalline hegemony with their reality-warping technology, or perhaps the machine collective with their infinite computational power." Jake's jaw tightened. The crystalline hegemony retreated to their pocket dimension the moment the hunters appeared in their territory. The machine collective calculated that the energy cost of fighting wasn't worth their survival probability and shut themselves down completely. "Ah," the princess nodded knowingly. "Then certainly the elder races have taken action. The beings who have guided galactic civilization for millions of years would never allow such devastation. The elder races declared the galaxy evolutionarily unstable and departed for another dimension entirely." For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Princess Vera's perfect features. "I see, but there must be others. The hive minds, surely they would fight to protect their collective consciousness." They attempted to negotiate a treaty with the Void Hunters, offering to surrender half the galaxy in exchange for their own preservation. The Hunters consumed them anyway. The throne room fell silent, except for the soft harmonic resonance that seemed to emanate from the crystalline walls themselves. Princess Vera studied Jake with new attention, as if truly seeing him for the first time. "Captain Morrison," she said slowly, "you speak as though humanity stands alone against this threat." "Because we do, Your Highness." The words hung in the air like a challenge. Jake watched as the implications settled over the alien princess. Her people, the Altonians, were renowned throughout the galaxy for their advanced technology and their philosophical approach to conflict resolution through superior firepower when necessary. "That cannot be correct," she murmured. "Surely a species as young as humanity would seek shelter, would evacuate to the outer rim territories, would hide until others resolved the situation." Jake allowed himself a small, grim smile. "That's not really our style." "But the odds," Princess Vera protested, rising from her throne with fluid grace. "The mathematical impossibility of success. the certain destruction that awaits. Your Highness, may I tell you what happened at the battle of Proxima Station? She nodded, her eyes wide with growing fascination, and something that might have been fear. The Void Hunters sent a fleet of 200 bioships to consume our outer colonies. We had 18 destroyers and 1 carrier. Every tactical computer in the fleet calculated our chances of victory at less than 0.01%. Jake began to pace, his boots clicking against the crystal floor. So we did what humans do when faced with impossible odds. We got creative. We rammed our carrier directly into their flagship while simultaneously detonating our entire antimatter reserve. The explosion created a temporary wormhole that sucked 47 of their ships into a collapsing star. Princess Vera's hand moved. To her throat, a gesture that seemed universal among humanoid species when confronted with shocking information. The remaining hunter ships adapted to our antimatter weapons within minutes, Jake continued. So we switched to kinetic bombardment using asteroids accelerated to near light speed. When they adapted to that, we used biological warfare. When they adapted to that, we used music. Music? The princess whispered. Turns out their biomechanical nervous systems can't handle batch played at specific frequencies. We destroyed 30 ships with a symphony orchestra broadcast on all channels. Jake stopped pacing and faced her directly. Your Highness, the reason I'm here isn't because we need someone to save us. We're doing just fine saving ourselves. I'm here because when this war is over, when the last Void Hunter ship is nothing but space debris, humanity is going to remember who stood with us and who didn't. The princess stared at him for a long moment, processing information that clearly challenged everything she thought she knew about the young human species. Around them, the crystal walls seemed to pulse with anticipation. Captain Morrison, she said finally, I believe I may have been mistaken about a great many things. Jake nodded respectfully. It happens to the best of us, Your Highness. Princess Vera straightened, and suddenly Jake could see why she was considered one of the most formidable military minds in the galaxy. When do we begin? The fleet departs in 6 hours. Then we had better hurry, she said, already moving toward the chamber's exit. I have the feeling this war is about to become very interesting indeed. As they walked through corridors that bent space itself, Jake allowed himself another small smile. The galaxy was about to learn what every human already knew. When you corner a human, you don't get surrender, you get consequences.